Hello everyone, I'm Ashfaq Ali Shafin, a graduate student at FIU. In this screencast, I will be discussing about one of the most common exploitation in computer security, and that is SQL injection. Before diving into SQL injection, I want to talk a little bit about SQL query. SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language, is utilized to interact with a database system. And the common statements of SQLs are such as select, insert, delete, update, and some others. Many popular database structures such as Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, and other accessible with SQL commands, although each provides additional proprietary function as well. The SQL injection, sometimes referred to as simply SQLi, is a common method used by attackers to manipulate and access database information that would otherwise not be displayed or provided to the user. This is accomplished through exploiting application bugs or vulnerabilities to inject malicious SQL code that alters SQL to retrieve or even delete the data from the system. A study conducted by Ponemon Institute in 2014 found that 65% of IT organizations fall victim to SQLi every year. The study surveyed 595 individual companies that work in IT or IT security. A little bit background of SQLi, it was first documented by Jeff Forrestal in 1998 while he was writing a section about Windows NT system and the vulnerabilities of Windows NT system. This is a simple demonstration of SQL. Here we have a SQL query which selects user ID, username, and user password from a table called user table. And it tries to matches the username and the password with the variable name and pass. And below we can see a database of user table. It has three instances with 1, 2, and 3 having the username of admin, John, Allen, and their password. So if the name from the username and user pass matches from the text box of the HTML page, it will log in the user, otherwise it will fail to log into the system. Suppose the name and the pass is admin, which is correct from the database, it will serve to log in to the system. Otherwise, if the password or name doesn't match, it will restrict the user from logging in. But if we inject it with an SQL injection, it may alter the system and log in an unauthorized user like this. So instead of using a valid password, we are using an invalid malicious SQL password, which can be read as this, where we have an and a or logic. Here, the password field will be empty and there is a logic 1 equal to 1, which will always be true. So this SQL statement will return a value of true. So the user, even without the actual password, can log into the system. So how can we stop SQL injection? The most popular way to stop SQL injection by using prepare statement and parameterized queries. So instead of using the variable directly, we will bind them with parameters and we will be using a prepare statement to get the result. So even if we inject a malicious query with the password field or the name field, it will restrict the user from logging in. There are some other solutions that can be used to stop SQL injection. Those are intrusion detection system, web application firewall, and avoiding administrative privileges to every user. Now we will go to our system and show you a demo how SQL injection works. Here we can see that our user table has three instances with admin, John, and Alan, and this is our system. So suppose first I try to log in with admin with invalid password. It shows me an error that username or password is incorrect. Suppose I have written something like deck and admin. It will also be an error because the username doesn't match. If we write admin, and this is a valid username and password, so it transactions to the system and lets us log into the system. Let's log out, and now let's try with our SQL injection. And here we can see it has, even though we have inputted wrong password, it gives us the authority to log into the system. So this is the main reason we shouldn't use the variable names directly to our code. So this was our actual code. We can see that here we have used username and user password directly with the variable. So if we want to stop this injection, we will not use this code segment, and we will use a code segment with a parameterized SQL query. Here we can see that we have a bind parameter and a prepare parameter to execute our code. Let's reload the system and start admin equal admin. Yes, it lets us log in. Let's different admin and 1234. It doesn't let us log into the system, and admin and with our SQL injection, it doesn't let us log into the system. Thank you, everyone.